Yeah, Saturday in the park, and you better believe it. It's a Saturday, and it's another Saturday morning, and it is telling it like it is. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here with you this morning, waiting for Leo Haggerty to come on with us. Leo should be on shortly. So this morning we got a lot to talk about. As you know, this past week, a few days ago, OJ Simpson passed away, and yesterday I was going to talk about that on the External Bum show, but I had a prior obligation, so we couldn't do the External Bum yesterday to talk about O.J. Simpson. All right, you're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. We're in Studio B this morning, and that number is 724-201-0500. Call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning today for all the best of air conditioning and furnace work. They do the best of it. Call, ask for Bill. Tell Bill Ralph Williams sent you. And our first segment, as we get ready to talk about O.J. Simpson, is brought to you in part by Sleep Pittsburgh, 412-462-7858. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. Don't forget they have no credit check financing. And also you can do all of what you want to do online. Check out their inventory online at sleeppittsburgh.com or visit 8th Avenue in Homestead for the for everything that you want to look at as far as what Sleep Pittsburgh has. And they have a big selection of futons, day beds, and more, and a lot more. The number 412-462-7858. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. All right, everybody. This morning we're going to talk about O.J. Simpson a little bit. Other than the fact that O.J. Simpson was involved in the police chase when he was supposedly arrested and charged with murdering his wife, whether he did it or not. He did get off on it. So technically he was not guilty of it. All right. He had a profound legal team. All right. But before that, O.J. Simpson was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was one of the best running backs in the NFL. All right. O.J. Simpson was one great athlete when he was an athlete. He did a lot of commercials. He did some acting. He did some things that were just, what most retired football players do. All right. So O.J. Simpson, to just have a black eye because of that case with the fact of, his killing his wife, and then Harry Goldman going out there and suing him in a civil lawsuit. But then he loses everything. How about that? He lost his Heisman Trophy. He lost everything. All right. O.J. Simpson went to USC. O.J. Simpson played in the NFL. Played for the Buffalo Bills. Played for the LA Rams for a little bit. Played for a few other teams, maybe. Okay. Here's a guy who I wouldn't say his legal troubles were once, they were twice. Everybody forget, or did they remember that he got arrested and charged and was put in jail for about 10 or 12 years or whatever it was because he was trying to get back his memorabilia that he claims was stolen from him. Okay. He went to the Palace Station Hotel, which I've stayed there, and he went there when they were having some kind of a trade show or some kind of a memorabilia show, and he tried to go to the dealer who bought his stuff in auction and try to take it back. He beat the guy up practically. He had some friends, some guys with him, beating him up. All right. And did a bunch of stuff to this guy, assaulted him, did all kinds of stuff just to try to get his things back. All right. O.J. Simpson. He made a lot of mistakes. Got charged down in Florida with stealing cable. All right. O.J.'s life completely went down the toilet because of some stuff that he basically could have avoided if he would have been a little bit better off in what he was doing. Okay. But he wasn't. Okay. OJ Simpson did what OJ Simpson did. Okay. And that was doing what he was doing. So, anyway, there is where we are today. And now his legacy with his family. Sorry about that, guys. My apologies. Had some issues I'm trying to straighten out here. Technical issues. Trying to get Leo on, but having some issues trying to do that here right now. Not on his end, on my end. With some of these other athletes who have followed in the footsteps of OJ Simpson. Take a look at what they've done. Some of them are in jail. Some of them are, everybody thinks because they're an athlete of a professional kind or any kind, that they can just do whatever they want. They can cause domestic violence. They can cause whatever. And that's what OJ did. OJ decided he was going to just cause whatever he wanted, do whatever he felt was the best thing to do. And that's it. He didn't care. All right. He did not care at all. All right. I don't exactly know what his wife did to him to cause him this. I know he had some issues with his health. He died of pancreatic cancer. So that goes to exactly show you that he did have some health problems. And probably some of them came about while he was in prison. But what a waste of talent. What a waste of a guy who simply had it all. He had the perfect marriage. He had the Heisman Trophy. He had a lot of things. And he let his health get to him. And he let this get to him. And he let that get to him. He let everything get to him to where this is where we are with this. Yeah. This is it right here. Okay. This is how it's going. All right. Leo's joining us right now. There he is. We finally got our my technical issues worked out.
No problem, Ralph. And thank goodness my good friend Karen Lawrence texted me and said, "Hey, I'm on watching you and you're not there."
That's okay. We got it.
Yeah, thank you, Buffin. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, Leo, I just got started talking about OJ Simpson a little bit. What are your thoughts on? I just talked about the potential when he was charged with the murder of his wife, and the memorabilia incident, and some of the other stuff that he has done, positive and negative. What are your thoughts on OJ Simpson?
Positive, a great football player, just
right.
A phenomenal running back. Anybody gets 2,000 yards in the NFL, that's not chopped liver. So yeah. Other than that, as a person, okay, Ralph, my opinion is this: there were so many mistakes made in that trial.
Yes.
Anybody who's played golf knows do not get a leather glove wet and expect it not to shrink. So Johnny Cochran was probably doing backflips when they said, "Well, I'll try the glove on." They said, "Sure, go ahead." I go, "Oh no, that's a mistake." Plus, if you look at it, he's also wearing rubber gloves underneath. So it was like, okay, that Marcia Clark, big mistake there. Do I think OJ did it, Ralph? No. Do I think OJ knows who did it? Yeah. I think that he has no idea.
Yeah.
no misconception as to who killed his wife, ex-wife, and friend. I think he knows that. Did he do it? Probably not.
Did he hire somebody? That's the question. Or do you think he probably maybe somebody did it and he knew who did it, but he figured they were doing him a favor?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or maybe a family member.
Yeah.
No one's gone down that road, have they?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I know his son, or his one older son, was being looked at for this.
Yeah.
And I know that, and some other friends maybe who perhaps knew what was going on and didn't like it and just decided to take matters into their own hands and just go right on ahead and do it.
Yeah. Like I said, did I think he did it? No. Do I think he know who did it positively? Yes.
Yeah, it's really sad that this man had a really good football career. He was in acting. He did a lot of commercials, especially the Hertz, running through airports and stuff. He was involved in some comedy movies. So here's a guy that had it all, and then he went ahead and then after that trial, everybody looked at OJ like, oh, well, he did do this. We all know he did it. No, you don't know he did it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think everybody was wrong on that, because he got off on it. And whether he did it or not, it doesn't make any difference. He got off on it.
Yeah, but public opinion convicted him, right, Ralph?
Yes, exactly. Public opinion did. The biggest mistake he made, Leo, and I think you'll agree with me on this, was trying to go after his memorabilia. And I know he was mad because Ron Goldman had that civil lawsuit against him, and his memorabilia ended up in auction. And I get it, okay, but not to go running into the Palace Station Hotel down in Vegas, where I've stayed at down there, by the way. I've stayed there, and at the Palace Station Hotel down there, and go after a guy who got this stuff on auction and was getting ready to sell it.
Yeah. Just he made some real bad decisions after
stealing cable. I mean, he got in trouble in Florida for stealing cable. I mean, you just don't. It was just silly things that he did. And I brought this up right before you came on, that athletes think that because they're above everything because they're an athlete. And we've seen how many of these athletes do this. There's some in prison right now. There's some that just have completely made idiots of themselves. Your thoughts on this before we move on to our next topic.
Athletes and politicians and rich people. That's the three groups that think they're above the law. Absolutely. Oh,
absolutely. All right. Our next segment is going to be brought to you in part by draft412.com. Draft412.com/draft nation is a website that you can get on and check out everything in regards to the draft. And the NFL draft's coming up. Draft Nation is putting on presentations in Indianapolis, in North Carolina, and here in Pittsburgh. So Draft Nation will be at the Stage AE here in Pittsburgh on Thursday, April 25th. It's going to be a great show. I will be there. The Aaron Donald Foundation will be involved in this. So you'll be seeing me with some pictures with Aaron Donald. So, I just want to let everyone know that as well. It's going to be a great thing. Myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, my wife's coming with me. Bubba Brewer, my buddy from Steel City Dynasty, will be there, and several others, dignitaries and everything else will be there. It's going to be a great draft party. So, all right, Leo, let's get into the draft. I know
Ralph,
go ahead.
Jump into the draft. You put out the 10 best Pitt alumni.
Yeah.
As pros. The fact that Revis is 10 tells you how good Pitt was in the past.
Yes.
He's a guy, Hall of Famer, and I couldn't fight with the 9 guys above him. I mean, if somebody's 10, he could have easily been 2 or 3. But hey, that's a heck of a top 10 for Pitt, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, but I want to tell you something else. I think Pitt would have way more athletes in the NFL if Dave Wannstedt was still the head coach. And when Dave Wannstedt was the head coach for 6 years, until Steve Peterson came back from ruining Nebraska, and he came back here and ruined our program again, by firing Dave Wannstedt he wanted his own coach. And Dave would have stayed here as long as Paterno was at Penn State, kind of thing. He was dedicated to Pitt. He sold Pitt, and a lot of guys that were when Wannstedt was here ended up in the NFL. Shady McCoy, Darrell Revis. I could tell you a whole bunch of them that ended up in the NFL when he was coach here. And so, I mean, and even the guys back from the 70s, the Fralics, the Dorsets, all them guys, when I was little, I watched them play football. So, I mean, and Dan Marino, who the Steelers should have drafted immediately. But anyway, Pitt has had some great, Mike Ditka. They've had some great athletes over the years. Dave Wannstedt himself. So,
Mark May. I mean, think about that. Mark may have been the epitome of an
Mark
offense.
May, yes.
Yeah.
And very good broadcaster. I mean, excellent when he was on College Game Days. Excellent. And today, Louis Riddick is going to be at our spring game today. I was going to go, but the weather here has kind of got to my body a little bit, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't feel like going down there. So it's
about 1 o'clock there. So
yeah, ours is at 2, and it's going to be on the ACC network. So I'll just watch it there, and then later on put out a sports capsule. But yeah, thanks for the compliment. Pitt that is a great list of Pitt players. Yes. So, but anyway, let's get started with the draft, Leo. I know Tampa's looking at a center. Steelers need a center, and whatnot. What team do you think in this draft is going to make the biggest play?
Well, you know what, Ralph? I think it's going to be someone between 15 and 26. Here's why.
Okay.
If these quarterbacks go like people are saying,
right,
5 or 6 of them that go in the top 15, and 3 or 4 wide receivers go there, that's 10 of the first 15. There's going to be a lot of talent dropping down the board because people are looking at these quarterbacks and wide receivers. Quarterbacks, I'm thinking maybe 3 of them are worthy of being up there. But I'll tell you what, those wide receivers, Anunzaway from Washington, Harrison, Namers from LSU.
I like Neighbors. I do.
And look, Thomas at 6'7". They've got another one out at Florida State coming out 6'7". I mean, there's a lot of really good wide receivers. If that happens, if that drops down the board, look for a frenzy of trades between 15 and 26 because there's going to be a lot of first-round talent hanging around there. A lot of people 20 and above, Ralph, may try to back out because if they're sitting on the board, let's use the Bucs as an example. If they're 26,
right,
there are 10 guys when they get to 26 that are still on their board above 26. Why not trade out to somebody and get a pick in that first 5 of the second round? Because you still have one of your guys up there. So,
right.
And there's going to be a real lot of consternation in draft rooms if these quarterbacks happen to fall down the draft board. Because you may have a guy like Michael Penix, you may have a guy like Bo Nix up there at like 9 or 10, and you're picking at 26, and they're still on the board. You're going to look at the head coach, the general manager, the owner. Hey, do we trust our board and take this guy? Because remember, Aaron Rodgers got picked while Brett Favre was still in his prime. You got to trust your draft board. If you got him up there, you got him up there for a reason. Trust it.
Yeah, I think that this is big on quarterbacks, wide receivers. I know I don't know about Tampa Bay, but I know the Steelers need at least 2. They're going to have to at least get 2 in the draft. They were trying to sign Tyler Boyd. They were unsuccessful. I'm hearing rumors now there's going to be a trade for T. Higgins with Cincy. I don't know if that's even going to come about. But I think there's so many receivers in this draft, and Smoking Jim Frazier, my co-host, is an NFL, a freelance scout. And he said that every draft, if you ever notice, there's an abundance of wide receivers. So there's always a healthy dose of them that I think that all these teams could get 1, maybe 2 if they need them. And I think Steelers definitely need 2. They're going to have to get one in the top 4. They're going to have to get one in the middle, late rounds.
And you know what, Ralph? When you look at the draft, you got 7 picks. Sometimes you get 8 or 9. Sometimes you get 5 or 6.
Yeah, like the Rams did last year. They had a whole mess of picks, and Baltimore the year before that had a bunch of picks.
you got to get a cornerback every year, at
Yeah.
least one and probably two, because those guys they go down like flies. And
Yeah.
again, they get hurt a lot. So you always got to take a cornerback and or safety. So that's 2 picks you got right there.
Right.
Wide receiver, for some reason, when the West Coast offense came in, coaches started thinking that, you know what, my scheme gets these people open, not their innate ability. Well, you know what? That's not the case. You got to get, I don't care what scheme you got, you still got to have a guy with talent. You got to have a guy
Right.
with skills. And again, Ralph, the 2 things, and I am going to hammer this to your audience till they're blue in the face. There's 2 things you can't coach: size and speed. And you know what? Speed is abundant, and great speed kills immediately. So yeah, these guys running times in the 4.3, 4.4. Man, now you go back to the film and say, hey, can this guy run a route? Neighbors is a perfect example. I think he put it like
Right.
a 3.5, and a tremendous route runner, great hands. You can't go wrong with Harrison,
No,
Ozanimon,
not at all.
or
Not at all.
Neighbors if they're still around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the Steelers are going to have to go in that direction. Center they need. They're looking at that Frazier kid from West Virginia. I know Tampa's looking for a center. They want that Powers Johnson from Oregon, at 26. And I think it's going to be a battle between us and Tampa for Powers Johnson, because if he's available after the first round, I think the Steelers might still take him. If Tampa doesn't, or Tampa might look at one of these other centers too. That kid from Duke and a few other guys.
Yeah, the kid from Oregon's pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, no doubt about that. And again, what you like about getting linemen from Oregon is they're already acclimated to playing at tempo, because that's the only way they play out there is at tempo. So
Right.
that's something that you don't have to worry about. But
Yeah,
again,
Graham Barton's that kid's name from Duke. He's 6'5", 311, and then you got Powers Johnson, you got Cedric Van Pran, that one from Georgia. You know what I mean? We could get him in the second round. You know what I mean? And then they got Zach Frazier from West Virginia for 4th or 5th round. He's 6'3", 310. So, and you got Andrew Rain from Oklahoma. We're running a football this year with Arthur Smith. So I'll take an Oklahoma center any day of the week. They always run the football.
oh yeah,
You know.
they're used to that. They run the football. What I really need to remind people of is when you hear the talking heads on TV said, "Oh, well, that team, that was a reach." The only thing you look at,
Mm-hmm.
if you draft a guy in the first round, he's got to play now. If you draft a guy in the first round and he doesn't play, I don't care if he's been the top pick in the draft.
Right.
If he doesn't play, it's a bust right then that first year. But one caveat to that is you can sit a quarterback, because that position, the speed of the game increases exponentially.
Well, look at Jordan Love. He was a first-round pick. They sat him for what, 4 or 5 years behind Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, it's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Green Bay did the same MO. They sat
Right.
him 2 or 3 years. It takes a while to see the speed of the game, and especially how. Look at these guys that they can throw in right away. Other than Stroud down at with the
Carolina. Or with Houston. Yeah. C.J. Stroud. Yeah.
other than him, look at the guys they took. Richardson gets hurt up with Indianapolis.
Bryce Young, he didn't do anything with Carolina. He was terrible.
Yeah, and a reminder: if you're going in the top 5, you're probably going to a bad team. So
Yeah.
here's a trivia question of the day, Ralph. What was Peyton Manning his rookie year in Indianapolis? How many wins did he get?
What, 2?
One.
I said 1. I said 2. I actually thought 2. Yeah.
One win. He turned out pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah. Ted Marchibroda was the coach when he got drafted, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah.
Ted Marchibroda. Yeah.
You know what? It's kind of funny you bring that up, because when the Bucs drafted Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Tony Dungy, if he was the head coach, would have taken a chance on Sapp, because the Bears had put up so much misinformation or, some really sketchy information on Stapp. And thank God Sam White was the coach. He said, hey,
Right.
give me players. They got
Yeah.
Brooks and Stapp in the first round, and boy, that turned the whole franchise around because then Tony Dungy shows up, gives them some discipline, gives them some culture, and then Gruden comes in and puts icing on the cake.
All right, we're going to, Leo, we're going to our next segment. We're going to talk a little bit about college basketball on both fronts, men's and women's. As you know, Caitlin Clark. And then also on top of that, we had the championship games this week. And we're going to talk about John Calipari as well. And that's brought to you by the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. I was looking at the what you call it's the comments on Google, and every one of them was a 5-star. So go to the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. Great pizza. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you, and you will get a discount on your order. So call today, 412-264-4444. Eat in, take out, and delivery in the Moon Township area. And also, this next segment is also brought to you in part by DJ Fun. Call DJ Fun today, 412-990-8448 for any DJ needs, for a wedding, for a party, for a special event. Do you need a DJ? Do you want one that's not going to take you to the cleaners? So call DJ Fun today. The number 412-990-8448, DJ Fun. All right, Leo, let's talk about John Calipari going from Kentucky to Arkansas. Did Kentucky lay an egg here and their administration got a little too impatient? What do you think?
They're always impatient in Kentucky because the bar is set. If you don't win the SEC, you're already below the bar. So it's like every year. Well, those days are over, folks, of people winning constantly because of the portal
and the NIL. Yeah.
And NIL. Those days are over. The fact that Connecticut went back to back, that's phenomenal.
Yes.
In what's going on. So they have a good social media director. They probably have a good NIL because those kids are sitting there and they're happy. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. West Virginia got a new coach as well. There were rumors Bob Huggins was coming back. That didn't happen. They hired that guy from Drake. So I think West Virginia and Kentucky are going to be two teams that are going to be under the microscope because they have new coaches this year or in the upcoming basketball season. Also, your thoughts on the national championship on both perspectives. What are your thoughts on both of them? We'll start with the men's game, the UConn versus Purdue.
Tennessee put out the blueprint on how to beat Purdue.
Right.
And it was real simple. Let Edey get his points because all he's getting is 2s, and then go down and make 3s to beat them. Well, Edey got his 40. Tennessee outscored Purdue by 24 points, but they were 6 short. And the problem was one of Tennessee's best players, Visconti, had the flu, and he was worthless. He couldn't play. So, yeah, that was terrible. But they put that out. Look at what happened in the finals. Connecticut guarded the 3-point line. They didn't care about Edey scoring. He got 37.
Right.
All they cared about was you're not going to get 3-pointers. And Purdue didn't. They were 1 of 7. They only got 7 3-point shots. So Connecticut was out on the perimeter. Connecticut, hey, they made 6 of 22. Yeah, or 6 of 24, I think it was. And 5 more 3s, Ralph. What was the difference in the game?
Yes.
75-60. There it was. They're going to beat you from the. They made sure Purdue didn't even get 3-point shots up. So that was what a great coaching job by Dan Hurley. Actually sitting there and going, okay, Tennessee's got the right idea. Let's just expound on it, which they did. Now, the women's game, oh boy, 2 stats jumped out at me, Ralph. The first one was Iowa starters played 182 of 200 minutes. 3 girls played 40 minutes. They ran out of gas at the end. They just didn't
Yeah,
have
they
any
did. They did. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And I think Iowa's coach in the girls' game, I think was outcoached. And that coach at South Carolina, she's a really good coach. So there's no way I didn't think Iowa was going to win that game.
Well, I thought if they used their bench a little differently, but here's the problem. South Carolina's bench outscored Iowa's bench 37-0. So not only are they resting their starters, so they got them down the stretch, they're also getting points. So yeah, that was 2 huge stats that just jumped out at me in that game.
Okay, real quick, Leo, our mailbag here. We have a couple mailbag here participating today on the emails. It says, Ralph, it says, you and Leo do a great job on telling it like it is. Watch it every Saturday when you guys are on. And Leo's perspective is very good. Thank you for that. And that was from Rodney. And or I'm sorry, not Rodney. That Rodney's the next one. That one was from Harry from West Virginia. And then Rodney here. He's a steady watcher. I've had comments from him before. He's from Florida, and he says someday hope to meet up with Leo and Peter Blake and the rest of the gang down there that you're friends with sometime in Tampa.
Jump in here real quick. Go out to the 2:00 USF spring game. We'll be out there. Peter, myself.
You know who else is going to be there too? Scott Morganroth.
I didn't know if he was coming up because
I think he is. He either is doing that one or he's doing FAUs or FIUs or something. Yeah.
One of those two. So
yeah.
Find him.
Yeah. So all right. Well, any final thoughts here, Leo, today, or anything more you want to talk about while we're here?
Real quick, the NBA. In the East, it looks like it's Boston's. They got to implode to not win the East.
Right.
Boy, what a crapshoot. 3 teams tied for the top going into the final weekend. Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Denver, all tied at the top. Look at the play-in game down there. Man, oh man, you got Phoenix, you got Sacramento, you got Golden State, you got the Lakers. Hello, 2 of those teams coming out. I don't know if I'd want to be 1 or 2 because I could end up with one of those 4 teams coming out. That would be a meat grinder right out of the gate. So yeah.
It looks like it's crowded. I don't follow the NBA that much, Leo. In fact, I hardly follow it at all anymore. Haven't since Michael Jordan left, and so I haven't in a long, long time. I don't keep up with them. Sometimes I see scores and stuff, but that's it.
These are the Pittsburgh Pipers, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's being talked about here. I understand our Chamber of Commerce or our government here and some state reps and some other people are pushing to try to get an NBA team here or a WNBA team here. Also, the Penguins are bringing in women's hockey. So, I mean, the women have a hockey league now. So, we're looking to bring that in. So we'll see where that goes. I really wish they would just leave well enough alone. We've had roller hockey here. We've had 2 indoor arena teams. We have had a professional lacrosse team. None of that stuff works. We had an indoor soccer team. None of that stuff works. This is a Steeler town or a sports Steeler, Penguins, and Pirates. And, Pitt don't draw that well. So, I mean, except for big games. So that's all this town is. And, you can't keep shoving a square peg into a round hole, Leo.
Yeah, and you know what, though, Ralph? I'm going to tell you, watch Field of Dreams because the line in there, and I'm going to change it a little bit. If you win, they will come. If all of a sudden Pitt's 6-0 in football out of the gate, that'll become the hottest ticket in town. It's just it's got to win. And that's
there's a lot of people that are frustrated because we don't have a campus stadium. We play at Acrisure Stadium. Let me tell you something. Oakland is a mess. In the Oakland where Pitt is, you cannot park your car anywhere. There's no real parking lots anywhere. And where are you going to put this stadium? All right. They have a 30-year plan to build one. I want to know where it's going to go. They had plans. They had planned to do one before they moved to Heinz Field, before Heinz Field was even built. And I would rather go to Heinz Field, sit in a nice, comfortable seat. It's not that hard to get to. you can ride the subway for free and get there. So, it's not like it's an inconvenience or nothing. These people make a mountain out of a molehill. I'd rather go to Heinz Field.
Problem may be, Ralph. Maybe maybe Pitt's getting drained financially. You got Heinz Field. You better be putting 30, 40, 50,000 in there minimum.
Yeah.
If not, that rental may be just crushing you.
Well, yeah, they share it with the Steelers, and they share the South Side practice facilities with the Steelers as well. I hear Pitt wants to go on their own, so we'll see what happens.
Parking and all that at Heinz Field is that privately owned? Who owns
It's owned by the Pittsburgh Parking Authority and some private entities, and they're getting ready to build some more apartments, more businesses, more retail, more office buildings, and there's going to be a lack of parking over there real soon because some of the spots that they park in, they're trying to get people to park downtown and take the T, which is our subway. It's called the T, for free. I don't know why no one does that. I've done it many times when I did park. $6-10, park your car, take the T for free, and go over there. Nothing wrong with that,
Not at all. Hey, I see people charging $30 to $50 to park.
Yeah, it's $40 to park here, Leo. 40 for event parking. I never pay that. I take public transportation when I go over there.
Yeah. We got to get off, but hey, Stanley Cup is going to start next week. The best part of professional sports, you got to win 16 games.
Yeah, you do.
Amazing. It is a marathon.
It is.
It is a crucible because you got to stay healthy. You got to win 4 games 4 times.
Right.
Do the math. 4 times 4, 16. Ralph,
oh yeah,
we're coming into some great times now.
Right. We are, yes. Yeah, it's a great time for sports right now. You got hockey, you got NBA get ready to go into playoffs, hockey playoffs, spring football, you got the UFL, you got baseball, you got golf, you got car racing. This is a good time for sports right now.
Yeah, man. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, watching them the last 2 days in that monsoon wind they were playing it down in Augusta, it's crazy. But hey, Ralph, appreciate your time.
No problem. I appreciate you. Hey, Leo, give me one of them amped up sports shirts here. I take a 4X.
I'll see if I can find one for you, brother.
Thank you. All right. Have a great one, Leo. Thank you. Leo Haggerty, Amped Up Sports, who's here with me every single Saturday morning here on Telling It Like It Is, and that's exactly what we do here. This closing segment's brought to you by Fold and Travel Mobility, 1-877-GOT-FOLD. If you're handicapped in a wheelchair, as I am, what you need to do is get a hold of them today. And the experts on the phone there will chat with you about the right model of a folding power wheelchair that you need. Are you tired of not being able to go to a stadium or go somewhere to an event and have to and being able to use a power wheelchair? Well, they have the best fold and travel wheelchairs with Fold and Travel Mobility. 1-877-GOT-FOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com. And also, don't forget about check out their discounts and their website for all the models they have as well, and they will guide you through everything. All right, we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Ask for Bill. Tell Bill Ralph Williams sent you. This Tuesday on the radio show, Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Ryan Karazunas, our producer. We have with us this week, we're going to have Al Curtis from Amped Up Sports coming on to talk about the New York Giants. Steve Bellisario coming on to talk about the New England Patriots and our 32 team tour that we're doing. And then we're going to continue on with the defensive part of the draft. Where will the Steelers go on defense? We're going to talk about all that on Tuesday. And your phone call 724-843-1888. And also, don't forget we're live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page, YouTube channel, 99.3 FM. 12:30 on the AM dial. I'm Ralph Williams. This has been Telling It Like It Is. I will talk with you later because I'm going to give you spring football results. And don't forget, next week I will be doing sports capsules in regards to the draft. Have a great one. Thank you for watching.